committee on, or subcommittee, as it were, on nonpartisan elected positions as part of the Charter Review Commission work that we are doing. So we have all 5 committee members who've been appointed are present. And I guess our first order of business is we need to elect or appoint a chair. Anybody like to volunteer to be chair?
I would be willing to do it.
All right.
I'll second Doug's nomination.
Everybody okay with Doug being chair for this meeting? Say aye.
Aye.
Yes.
I'll be chair for the next 20 minutes, I guess.
That's right.
Okay. Well, Chair Lasher, take it away.
Well, welcome everyone. We should probably let the listener know who the members of the committee are. I'm Doug Lasher, County Commission or Charter Review Commissioner. Eric, do you want to?
Yeah, Eric Holtz, Charter Review Commissioner at Large, position 2.
Greg?
Greg Anderson, Charter Review, District 4, Position 3, and this is my second meeting.
Thank you. John?
I'm John Latta, Charter Review Commissioner, District 4, Position 2.
And Chuck?
I'm Chuck Green. I am Charter Review Commissioner in District 2, Position 1.
Thank you. You're in my district too. So we'll basically I think everybody has a copy of their charter. They have the copy of we've sent out some proposals in terms of wording, and I thought we'd just go through their 2 options at the direction of the commission. They wanted us to look at. One was to have the council chairs be partisan, and all the executive administrative offices be nonpartisan. And the other was to have all the positions nonpartisan. That's my understanding. Is there any other corrections to that, or understanding?
I think the options were council positions nonpartisan, or the executive administrative positions nonpartisan, or both. So I guess there's technically 3.
Oh, okay. I thought there were only 2 that they were asking for.
It's up to us, so
yeah.
we can
Okay.
definitely mix and match and propose. And I would imagine we leave this meeting, you're going to be making the chair report back to the commission next Wednesday as to what we've come up with.
But
Yes.
I guess the third option would just be the status quo.
Yes.
So
But
we're presenting 2 alternatives to the status quo.
No, I think I understood it the way Commissioner Lasher did, but I also see a good, it'd be a good option for us to propose a third option when we take it back to the main commission, because the third option would be just the county council offices nonpartisan and the rest partisan. If none of those changes are approved, then we're status quo, right? So,
right, good point.
So I think I'm taking Chuck Green's and Doug Lasher's positions and combining them.
Yeah, I don't believe that ever came up in discussion, but I think it's a good point. I believe that the discussion was all of the executive, either partisan or non, or just nonpartisan, but it was the council that some people kind of went back and forth on whether they wanted them partisan or not. But I think it's a good point to just present all.
All 3? Is that what you're saying? Or just the 2, either partisan or nonpartisan?
Right, it would be the inverse. So it would be partisan or nonpartisan executive with a nonpartisan council, and then it would be partisan or nonpartisan council with just nonpartisan executive, or vice versa. You know, those different combinations, um, without trying to overcomplicate it.
Okay.
So
So,
I'm sharing. I don't know if you can see this on screen.
Hmm.
So what this is showing is um, the election procedures we talked about last night. So I'm not going to cover that because that's not the purview of our committee. But the current version is at the top. That's what's in the charter now. One version, option one, is everybody, all the elected county positions being designated nonpartisan. In the middle of the page, I've thrown in San Juan County's charter language because that is what that would be, is all the positions being nonpartisan, and that's how they word it in theirs. I think as far as the legal language, we'll leave that to Christine Cook. I'm not quite sure of the difference between general law and state law when it comes to nonpartisan positions. Because
yeah,
right now our charter currently refers to state law. The San Juan County charter refers to general law. And Commissioner Lasher's proposals retain the state law version, but I'm not quite sure what, how we frame that and whether there's actually a nonpartisan provision for counties
what,
in state
yeah.
law.
Again, what I changed was what's already in the charter, just adapting it so that it shows partisan or nonpartisan. So it's all to add another word like general. I think we'll since I know our attorneys have already gone through our charter and have adopted it, it'd probably be just better to leave it the word state in there rather than instituting the word general.
Yeah,
Because
and
general
again,
doesn't really mean anything.
well,
What
again,
state
I just
does.
want to note that I'm not sure there's a nonpartisan provision for county elections. There is nonpartisan for municipal elections. And that's why I'm curious about the derivation of the term general law in the San Juan County charters language. But again, I leave that to the attorney. I'm an engineer, so don't trust me to gauge the law.
Yeah. My recommendation would be that we just make the few little changes to our current charter to accommodate what the commission wants, and then move forward from that. So my
So I
druthers
think, yeah,
would be
I think what you're
be
saying is, do we want to forward our intent? Because I know that we've always talked about legal counsel having a review before things get proposed to the full commission. So I think we're arguing semantics, but is this our intent? Are these the three options?
I think the commission wanted us to come back with verbiage that they could bring forward to adopt. And so I
Okay.
don't think we have a lot of room for debating the
No.
pros and cons, but just that we come back with the options, what the verbiage is, and then go forward from there. I again would stick with our current charter. We know it's been gone over by our attorneys. Every attorney writes something different. If given an opportunity, an attorney will interpret something different and rewrite it differently. And so my suggestion, we just stay with our current charter, make the modifications that are at the direction or will of the commission, and the two options or three. I only heard two, but
Yeah,
anyway, that's
I think
where I would go.
I think it's a good point. We need to very carefully stay within the purview of the powers allotted to us by the commission and not try to perform any action beyond that. And if they said to have two options, that's what we were created to do, is to create two options, and we should probably stick to that. If anybody
I can-
remembers the verbiage.
I don't have an exact memory, but I do recall it saying two options. If we're going to use the existing charter or language, there's one more, I think, revision that might need to be made when we're proposing nonpartisan, because in the last half of the last sentence, it continues to talk about partisan county elections.
I'll explain that piece, and that's an important piece to talk about, because there is, if you refer to nonpartisan races, which are all your other local governments, cities and cemetery districts, they are run on off-year elections. And in talking to the elections office, they would prefer to keep on the even calendar year with the county offices. It just makes things a lot easier and cleaner for them. It keeps everybody on the current schedule. So you just refer to the dates in partisanship for local governments, then you're on the even years. If not, they'd be running on an odd year.
I thank you for the explanation, but I would suggest then inserting the word schedule to be clear.
Okay.
It's not a
Good.
method, it's a
Yeah.
schedule that we're suggesting.
So where would you,
Instead of manner, change that to schedule.
Yes,
Right.
thank you.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Want me to change it on the screen?
I had that comment too about the nonpartisan and the partisan in the last sentence.
That's my
Okay.
only concern that I had, was the scheduling aspect. It makes sense, but that's all we're not changing, in other words.
Right.
So scheduling is what you would suggest?
I think we're getting into legal semantics. So again, I would hesitate to get too much into the terminology and let legal counsel.
Oh, they're going to see all of this. They'll see it all.
I just sense if this goes forward as written, it's going to be confusing on the ballot.
No, well, all of this is going to have to, before anything gets to the ballot, it has to go through legal counsel as the form review. We can't directly put things on.
We want to make it clear as we can.
Right.
But I think if we, doesn't, just, I want to do straight through, underline. Now that's not underline. There, all right. So are we just going to move ahead with all positions, or just administrative elected, or are we going to do all positions and just council, or what are we?
Chuck, I think the direction of the commission was to come back with two options. So we provide them because that might be something that the voters will eventually have once it goes through legal counsel, once it goes through the commission and then legal counsel. So the first one would be that all the elected officials are nonpartisan, and then the second one would be only the administrative elected positions are nonpartisan, and the council members fall under the partisan statutes. So basically, by crossing the council member out in the second version or option, it reverts to state law. If it isn't specific in the charter, it goes to state law, and so the council members operate as if they are under state law, and that they become partisan, and then they have to go through the partisan process.
So are you saying eliminate option 3?
I don't think, I thought the entire group was in favor of having all the administrative elected positions nonpartisan. And I thought that they directed us to just do option 1 and option 2, whether it's revolving around the council, whether they should be partisan or nonpartisan.
All right.
But the others all nonpartisan.
That's how I remember it also.
So eliminate
So
option 3.
yeah, I would.
Yeah, maybe we would, but what does it hurt for us to offer it to the commission? And,
Oh,
you know,
I
if
could
you're
bring it up in my
correct,
report.
I
Well,
think,
and we
yeah,
can
yeah, I think you're
definitely
right
forward
that,
it.
yeah,
I
I think
can
everybody
report
was more or less, not for that one, but, you know, we can offer it and it'll go away.
Sure, sure. Yeah,
It
we
is
can't make it.
It
Yeah,
is
we
a
can't make it go
logical,
away.
it's a logical, you know, thing to propose.
Yeah.
Given
Okay.
the other things.
Okay.
So
So what I would like to do is get a consensus on the verbiage of 1 and 2, and then present 3 as an option, because that just says everybody is, or it says the council is nonpartisan, and the clerk and the assessor and the treasurer and everybody else is partisan.
So
The
one thing we
sheriff.
haven't brought up, and I think the words that we have now are going to work, but the ranked choice voting keeps coming up in the discussions, and I know we had a House bill, you know, that was in the system this year that didn't pass, that would have allowed ranked choice voting. So what I hope we can continue to do is keep the language in the charter such that it would allow us to move to ranked choice voting if it becomes available and, you know, if it becomes an option in the state without having to change the charter. So, and I think we're doing that with these words.
Yeah,
You agree?
I don't know if this really deals with ranked choice voting, but I know we're going to be talking about it in May, in another couple of weeks, after or maybe it's June, I don't know, when we get the things that need to be on this ballot cycle. But I think,
I don't want to specify ranked choice voting in here, but
yeah,
I don't want to, I
sure.
want to leave it as an option, you know, if
Oh, yeah,
other rules change.
I think it's going to, it'll be something that'll be brought back up, and it'll be put out there. But this part just deals with these positions, whether they're going to be partisan or nonpartisan. That's the question.
And
So
it's neutral as far as
Right.
ranked choice voting.
Okay.
I think I get your point, John, where you just don't want this verbiage to go back that would conflict with a following amendment.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which I don't think it will. I think it looks pretty open.
yeah, this doesn't say anything, and that's the election procedures, which refers to primaries and general elections, because that's where ranked choice voting could affect whether or not you
Right.
have a primary and a general, or you just have instant runoff. But we're not proposing changes to that. So in
No.
this case, I think we do not forward section 6.1 language,
No.
since that was not in our purview.
No, it is not.
Okay.
I would like to talk about one thing on 6.1, nominating primaries. I have a crossed out. I talked to the election department head, Kathy, and she said that it's an old term that's just been stuck out there because that isn't how the state of Washington operates anymore. It's just that it was in state law language at the time that they wrote this, but then they went to top two primary or top two selection. So she recommended that we cross out the word nominating and just keep the word primaries, because basically laws change on us all the time, and hopefully the charter is flexible enough just to be able to adapt to that, because we don't know what changes could occur tomorrow.
So this is language suggested by the elections office?
Yeah, Kathy in the elections office, elections director.
Before we get working on this too far, I'm pretty sure we were directed to stay within 6.2, and that's probably what this meeting should focus on. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say,
I agree, and I just wanted to let you know about why that word was changed that I didn't have before. So
Okay, can we include that in our report then, the 6.1 language, and just as an aside?
sure, we could do that in the option 3 as aside. So
Yeah.
do we have any other changes that we want? Because we hopefully will dissipate here within a few minutes.
all right, here's on screen is what I was going to forward back to Doug and copy Tina so that this is the report.
Okay. Any additional comments or corrections? I think that's the same as what I have.
yeah.
So, any more comments, corrections? Do I hear? If not, do I hear a motion to approve the verbiage?
The draft. verbiage.
Yeah, draft. Yeah.
We can't make any motions, I believe. This is just going to be submitted back to the.
Oh, okay. Well, is there consensus, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
I think consensus
to.
is there. Yeah.
Can we
Okay.
nod our heads or something? You know, yeah.
Yeah, we can all
Yeah.
like it and send it back to
Okay.
the commission, but we can't make
I
any
don't
actions.
see, well, no, we're taking business as a committee. I don't see that as, I mean, we basically our consensus, and that if that's what you're looking for, I think our consensus is this.
Okay.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
I don't hear any other arguments or discussion with it, so I think it's good to go back.
And
All right.
I agree, but I think we ought to find a way to ask if we would have been out of order to make a motion while we were in the subcommittee, because there are going to be other subcommittees.
Well, we need to clarify too that a subcommittee is sub of an actual committee, and we are a committee of a commission. So everybody keeps referring to us as a subcommittee when we're a standing committee or we're an ad hoc committee, but we're not a subcommittee of another committee.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
we're a committee
we
that
call
will
it.
disappear here as soon as we cancel our meeting here, where the communications committee is a standing committee. There might be some other standing committees established. I don't know exactly what they would be at this moment, but
So that would define us more of as an ad hoc committee then.
you're right. Yeah, we are here today and gone tomorrow.
We served our purpose and we move on.
Yeah.
And because
All right.
of,
All right. So
I'm sorry. And
so if
because
there's
of
no,
Doug Lesher and Chuck Green, commissioners, it looks like we made short work of it. So thank you.
okay.
Yeah, thanks guys for all your hard work.
So welcome. So the we'll just go ahead and go with the the two options, and then the third will report on and also do a report on 6.1, explaining the rationale for that. So if there's, I would like to make one comment. Sometimes I feel like we don't get enough history. I know, Chuck, you've jumped into the subject matters in our meetings to give a little background and history, and that's I think really important to have in some of this, because some folks are fairly new to the government process and very sharp people, but it's also good to have the rationale why our county government is designed the way it is and what the roles and what people do in that county government. So I just hope that if there are questions or people want to learn a little bit more about their county government, besides going to WACO which is Washington Association of County Officials website, or the NACO, National Association of County Officials website, there's also maybe we need to spend some more time in our general meetings to educating folks about the background of that. Because sometimes I get the feeling that we're just in a rat race trying to get done by 7 o'clock. And
Well, I would say, Commissioner, since we have a pretty full work plan that's been laid out, it's something you might want to bring up with the co-chairs and with Jeff Swanson,
yeah,
because of the fact that we've got our meetings laid out through the end of May and we're probably into June now.
yeah, and but I do notice that in the conversations that we have, which are trying to get decisions, that some of the reasons of why and the full context of what's happening get left
But
unsaid. And there's the viewer or the listener out there that misses that context too. And I worry about that as we roll out our proposed changes down the road. Are they going to really be understanding what we're doing and the reasons why it's important to make those changes?
Yeah,
well, hopefully we have those with the most experience be really engaged with the communications committee, and so that can be expressed of why we made the decisions, why we pushed forward the things that we believed would make the best change, and just having those people on the commission being able to speak up and say, hey, did you know that the reason why this is this way is historically, that's the kind of value that is also, rather than devoting an hour of a meeting to talking about a history, just having a commissioner step up and say, hey, let me give you a few minutes of background on this before we move forward on it.
let me throw out something else because of me having the history. I've talked with Nan Hendrickson, I've talked with Christine Cook about this, and other charter review commissions around the state have done this as well. And that's provide a statement of intent that's almost like a final report, so that 5 or 10 years from now, or 10 years according to the current charter, when somebody comes back and takes a look at why did you do this, there's a statement of intent that goes with it. And sometimes they do that in the legislature,
Mm-hmm.
just because it gives that legislative intent that goes with it. But that would be my suggestion, is that we have a wrap-up report.
Yeah,
Not to, I like the idea, but I do believe we're leaving our 6.2 purview of
yeah,
why we have this
I,
meeting. So I just want to keep us legal.
yeah.
Yeah.
But,
So,
but that's a, but it sort of goes with the intent of 6.2 is what the intent is. And I appreciate that. I think that's a great idea because remember the next generation that's going to be reviewing this charter are maybe still in junior high school right now. And so we don't know who's going to be
yeah.
on the board.
So I would
I
suggest,
may be
Malik,
gone.
that you adjourn us as a formal committee meeting, Chair, And if we have further discussion, it's just a bunch of commissioners talking with each other, not in a quorum.
Okay.
That way we've met our intent as the committee, and then if there's further conversation, we can continue to have it. It'll be just a chat.
Okay. Well, then I will declare this meeting over. The verbiage is finalized for 6.2, and we'll be also presenting the option 3 for 6.2 and brief discussion of 6.1 on the one change in my report. So I really appreciate the camaraderie and the dialogue. It I sometimes think it you get a little bit better feeling about where everybody's coming from when you have a small group like this. You're able to chit chat. But yeah, if you want to continue on, Tina, I think for recording purposes, we're done. So if the group wants to continue to have any other questions or things that they'd like.